Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I rock with you. If you rock with me, subscribe is the vibe, man. It's your boy Gabos. We back with another one. Mr. On the Road to 4K. Humbly. All right, yo. So we got... damn. Hold on. Put my phone on silent. It's like when I'm free, nobody hit me up. But the moment I'm ready to record, all of a sudden, what's going on, Gabos? What's going on? Ain't nothing going on with your big ass. On the airplane mode. Yo, all right, so we got the GOAT of every position in the NFL. Woo, interesting. Quick, if I had to make a lineup of the GOATs that I think, who are my GOATs, matter of fact? Hold on. Of course, we starting with Tom Brady. Favorite quarterback, all-time great quarterback, Tom Brady. It is what it is. Running back, it'd be between... Matter of fact, I'm not going to do all-time. I'm going to do it within players that I watch play. All right, so... No disrespect to any of the other old GOATs, you know what I'm saying? But if I didn't watch you play, I'm going to keep you off my list. It is what it is. All right, so we're going to start off with Tom Brady. Running back, I'm going to go with LaDainian Tomlinson, Adrian Peterson. Tight end is a mixture between, I'm going to go with Rob Gronkowski and Tony Gonzalez. I'll give it to Tony. Lineman, yeah, come on, bro. Like, give me Jonathan Ogden, Jeff Saturday, Trent Williams. You know, linemen be so hard to remember nowadays, but you get what I mean. All right, so receivers would have to be, come on, bro. Megatron, Randy Moss. Let's start off with that. Megatron, Randy Moss, T.O., and let's see if I had to throw a top full wide receiver that I would call GOAT-ish. Randy, T.O., Megatron. Oh, man. Because I can't remember anybody. Let's give Julio. Let's give it to Julio, bro. But those are my GOATs. If I had to make an all-star lineup with GOATs that I've watched play, I know I'm keeping a couple of dudes off the list. I'd start off with that. So we're going to get right into the GOAT of every position in the NFL. Appreciate y'all, man. Hit the like button one time for your boy. Let's get right into it.
It's what fuels every barbershop and bar debate. Who's the best ever? It's impossible to name just one person the greatest NFL player in history. There's just too many positions and responsibilities to compare a guy that catches the ball to a defender that sacks the quarterback. Without further ado, here's the greatest player ever at every position in football. Quarterback. This was a huge debate until about 3 years ago. Tom Brady has put himself head and shoulders above everybody else, becoming the oldest Super Bowl MVP at 39 years old. Then, he broke his own record, winning another Super Bowl at 41. Brady is the only person to ever become both the youngest Super Bowl MVP and the oldest Super Bowl MVP. Counted out and overlooked, Brady's 6th round selection has fueled his insane work ethic. Brady has more playoff wins than 27 NFL teams. No moment cemented the legend of Tom Brady like Super Bowl 51. Atlanta Falcons fans, let me do you a favor.
Yo, I ain't even gonna hold you, bro. I know the city of Atlanta is still sick. This is one of those Super Bowls I know for a fact. If you would have asked Matt Ryan what he thought about that game, Devontae Freeman, Julio, who else was there? Dwight Freeman. Like, I'm telling you, none of them watched the Super Bowl, bro. I know how it feels when my team loses a Super Bowl. I can't rewatch it. Ain't no highlights. Everything's a low light. I lost. And you got to be a diehard fan. Like them L's, oh, man, it just leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. To this day, I can't really watch Super Bowl against the Giants. Either of them. I hate it. I watched it like one time and I was good. The one against Philadelphia, didn't even watch that one. You know, so I already know Atlanta fans, y'all sick. The Atlanta players, they still sick to this day, bro. You want to talk about something you wish you could erase?
Fast forward about 15 seconds. In the third quarter, the Falcons went up 28-3, firmly in the driver's seat of their first Super Bowl championship. But then, Brady captained the greatest comeback in the history of sports, playing nearly perfect to force overtime and then win the game. While Montana is the original GOAT, Brady has passed him in nearly every category. Peyton Manning, Brady's career nemesis, is his only other peer, but Manning's lack of postseason success keeps him from unseating Brady. Running back. The best running back of all time can't be found at the top of the all-time rushing leaders list. Sorry, Emmett. He's also not the longest tenured starting running back. So no, not Walter Payton. The GOAT of running backs played only 10 seasons, but dominated the game like no other. Number 20 in Lions blue and silver, Barry Sanders is the greatest back
I wish I got a
to
chance to
ever
watch
live.
Barry, bro.
In just
Like
a
every time I see his
decade,
highlights,
Sanders shook his way
it's
to
ridiculous.
15,000 yards
Your jaw drop
and
every
99
time,
touchdowns,
stupid.
meaning Sanders averaged 100 yards a game in his
Hold on,
career.
let me hear these stats again. My bad.
Just a blue and silver, Barry Sanders is the greatest back to ever live. In just a decade, Sanders shook his way to 15,000 yards and 99 touchdowns, meaning Sanders averaged 100 yards a game in his career, 20 yards more than any other player. If Sanders didn't retire early, there isn't any doubt he'd hold every imaginable rushing record. Sanders made defenders look silly, bouncing in and out of tackles, cutting on a dime, and stopping and going on a whim. He was the complete package. This is one of the tighter races, but Barry Sanders' wow factor and pure dominance every Sunday puts him above Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith. Fullback. In the 50s and 60s, most offenses employed at least two players in the backfield. The deepest player was referred to as a halfback, and the upback was referred to as a fullback. While there have been numerous traditional blocking machines that have come from that position, only one was a certified thoroughbred with the ball in his hands. And that is the Cleveland Browns legend, Jim Brown. Not only is Brown the greatest fullback ever, he's arguably the greatest football player to ever live. Brown simply couldn't be brought down. He was too fast, too strong, too agile, and had too much will to be stopped. He retired the all-time rushing leader and the only player to ever score 100 rushing touchdowns, something only 8 others have done since. The league season was only 12 games long, adding to Brown's unprecedented achievements. Brown retired, averaging 5.2 yards per carry. This is more than any other player in history.
That's before the NFL had linebackers, bro. Like Jim Brown was just running through niggas, bro. Hey, it don't make no sense. Like, and this is why I had to keep some of the GOATs off my list, because I'm gonna be real, I didn't get to really watch him. I know Jim Brown and what he represents for the city of Cleveland, and his highlights are nothing to sneeze at, bro. But I ain't watching play. Sanders, I wish I got a chance to watch Sanders play, bro. Like, Sanders is cold. Like, but I ain't gonna front. LT was that guy when growing up. LT and his 31 touchdowns and MVP season, you wanted the dark visor. LT was a combination of Jim Brown and Barry Sanders. I'm just keeping it a bean.
And the only other 5 yards per carry player in history was Barry Sanders. A few honorable mentions are Bronco Nagurski and Earl Campbell. Campbell was the Mack truck for the Houston Oilers, plowing over defenders. Nagurski, the fullback for the legendary 1930s Bears. But others just pale in comparison to the talent and impact Brown had on the game. Wide receiver. Some of our GOATs are controversial. This is not one of those. Who would have thought that Mississippi Valley State was the home of the best ever? Jerry Rice. Drafted by the 49ers in 1985, Rice was overlooked because he lacked speed and size. And San Francisco was laughed at for taking him so highly in the draft. Immediately, Rice's route running and soft hands made him unstoppable. Rice got better and more clutch as games wore on, a testament to his fanatical passion for fitness. A 20-year playing career is unheard of in the NFL, but Rice did everything right, on and off the field, to help push himself past others. Rice owns 3 unbreakable...
You hear that? A 20-year career as a wide receiver, dating back from the 80s to the early 2000s, right? Players can't even play 10 years nowadays. Like, they struggle to make it to 10 years. Y'all seen Julio Jones? Julio look old as hell out there. This man was running routes 20 years into his career. Had 1,000 yards. I think he was the first receiver to have 1,000 yards at the age of 40 or like 38, something like that. Don't quote me. But Jerry was different. His work ethic was different, bro. Almost mythological, bro.
NFL records, 207 touchdowns, 1,549 catches, and 22,895 receiving yards. What's even scarier is nobody is even close. Even with the offensive onslaught we're seeing in the NFL today, Rice is the greatest skill player to ever live. While Randy Moss was far more athletic and must-see TV every time he touched the gridiron, numbers don't lie. And for that reason, it's hard to imagine any receiver ever unseating Jerry Rice. Tight end. Some of the OG tight ends that transformed the position from a sixth blocker into a dynamic offensive weapon are definitely worth mentioning. Shannon Sharp was the best receiving threat on the powerhouse Broncos in the 90s, and incredible off of play action. Tony Gonzalez is near the top of all receiving records, regardless of position, posting insane numbers no matter who the quarterback was. But the greatest tight end of all time could block just as well as he could run down the seam and leap over defenders for the catch. That player is longtime Patriot Rob Gronkowski. Gronk is the most complete tight end ever. At 6'6", 250 pounds, he had unreal speed and leaping ability. He engineered the Patriots' running game and was option number 1 for fellow greatest of all time, Tom Brady. He easily made contested touchdown catches, but could also catch a 6-yard crosser and take it the distance. Gronk is far and away the single-season tight end touchdown leader with 17, and the Gronk spike is a celebration that will live on forever in NFL lore. Offensive line. Often the most underrated position in the sport, offensive line is critical to an NFL team's success. Because of that reason, it's also one of the most debatable positions for who is the greatest to ever do it. But if we're talking accolades, all-pro selections are a great place to start. Our
and Joe Thomas, I
lineman,
forgot.
well, he
Early
has
when I was talking
11
about linemen, Joe Thomas, one of the greatest offensive linemen for the Browns. I think this man went like 10 years, never even allowed a sack. Just different, bro. Like, there are dudes that are human, and then there are dudes that are built like tanks, and Joe Thomas was definitely one of them. So shout out to Joe Thomas.
Pro selections. Did we forget to mention that they were in a row? For over a decade straight, Anthony Munoz was the elite of the elite. Munoz neutralized every type of opponent he faced, from the quickest or the strongest to the nastiest. The USC product towered at 6'6", 280 pounds, but was as nimble and light on his feet as a runner or a receiver. This made him a mobile brick wall, and he spearheaded the offensive attack for the best Bengals team in the 80s. The icky shuffle doesn't happen without Munoz or the O-line. Munoz is the single greatest pass protector of all time, allowing Bengals QBs to sleep in peace at night. While it's a tight race between Munoz and Larry Allen,
I know Larry Allen,
guard for the 90s Cowboys. Munoz gets the edge over Allen because of the importance of his position compared to Larry's, as well as 4 more All-Pro selections. Defensive line. Mean Joe Green got his namesake by being the nastiest, most competitive player in the NFL. He anchored the greatest defense of all time, destroying offensive hopes and dreams in the process. Mean Joe not only had the size advantage, but he was more athletic than any other player on the field. Sacks weren't a recorded statistic during Joe Green's career, but ask anybody that was involved in pro football in the 70s, and they'll tell you Green would be the all-time defensive tackle sack leader. Unblockable doesn't even begin to describe Green's game. He blasted through blockers and dragged down the ball carriers by any means necessary. Green could sling around professional athletes like ragdolls, redirect to the ball, and toss another person to the ground at an uncomfortably easy rate. Others like Bob Lilly and Alan Page made the NFL's century teams, and Page even won the MVP award as a defensive lineman. But neither of these guys dominated opponents like me.
Imagine that happening today. Never. Quarterback-driven league. They try to act like the quarterback is the best position ever. Listen, man, the quarterback does determine whether you win or lose games, but like, come on, bro. Like, these niggas, they can't see some of the guys on the defensive end, man. I'm just saying. Some quarterbacks are bums. Like, stop it, man. Like,
Joe Green, edge rusher. Fun fact, the greatest edge player was actually an alter ego. Just ask Lawrence Taylor, the Giants' Hall of Fame pass rusher. Taylor convinced himself that LT came out of him on the gridiron. And who are we to disagree? LT was a freak that offenses had to game plan for each week, and they would often decide to avoid running any play to his side of the field. His 140 sacks don't even paint the picture. LT was a wild boar that ravaged terrified offenses for years, winning 2 Super Bowls and an MVP award in the process. LT single-handedly changed the face of defensive football, moving to more hybrid rushers that stood up as opposed to put their hands on the ground. This gave LT the more hybrid process. LT single-handedly changed the face of defensive football, moving to more hybrid rushers that stood up as opposed to put their hands in the ground. This gave LT the flexibility to attack anyone from anywhere and made him impossible to prepare for. Some other legendary edge.
Could you imagine a blindside sack from Lawrence Taylor, bro? Could you, yo, bro? This is why I'm always gonna have the most respect for the quarterback position, bro. Because you gotta be observant of all your surroundings while still looking for the wide open person, and not only looking for the wide open person, still finding a way to throw an accurate pass and reading the coverage, all while you got 230-pound guys falling all around your feet. You think I could be a pocket with Lawrence Taylor trying to rush in and get a sack on me? Like, come on, bro. Like, hey, listen, man. It is what it is. You don't pay quarterbacks enough. Lawrence Taylor.
Rushers to acknowledge are Deacon Jones and Reggie White. Most historians consider Jones the unofficial all-time sack leader, while legendary Packer Reggie White was adored the minister of pain, and anyone who played against him could attest to that. However, neither of these guys put fear in the hearts of men like good old LT. Linebacker. When you think of the word linebacker, that purple and black 52 stains the picture.
It starts with Ray Lewis, bro.
Ray Lewis was the heart and soul of the Ravens, bringing the intensity that gravitates us to the game of football. A lot of great backers have a nose for the ball. Ray Lewis had a personal connection to it. Ray Lewis's 2,000-plus tackles is the most ever. He punished ball carriers for deciding to face him. Ray just got better and better every season. Early in his career, he captained one of the greatest defenses ever. He was an ultimate testimony of football intelligence.
Nobody wants to see Baltimore
joining together.
I don't care what anybody tells me, dog.
To play.
If you're new to this channel, if you're new to the sport of football, understand Ray Lewis is the pinnacle of that position. I don't care about anybody that came in before him or anybody that's coming in after. It started and ended with Ray Lewis, bro. I'm talking about, you want to talk about a man that could galvanize the troops, make you feel like you're ready for combat. Like, mind you, they're playing a game. We talking about a game. This dude got these guys ready for war, bruh. He hit you. He made plays. He read the offense. This dude, Ray Lewis, embodied the definition of being a leader, bruh. Ray Lewis was him. Like, when I first started playing, what was it, Madden 2005, when Ray was on the cover, and they introduced the hit stick? It was because of him. It was because of him, bruh. Look at Ray Lewis tackles, bruh.
With one heartbeat.
Speed,
size, instincts, intensity, and leadership all rolled into one player. He wasn't just rare. Ray Lewis is a one of one. But you can't talk linebackers without mentioning Dick Butkus, the hard-hitting force in the middle of the field for the Bears, or Jack Lambert and his impact with the steel curtain. These guys laid out the foundation for backers for years to come, and Ray Lewis embodied everything these guys had and more. Cornerback. Deion Sanders is your favorite player's favorite player. Flashy, gaudy, cocky, and always in the limelight. All the qualities that made him great and earned him the nickname Primetime. Sanders would have probably been the GOAT at any position he wanted to play. I mean, the guy ran a hand-timed 4.2 in the Combine and immediately left right after. He was selected first-team All-Pro for 9 consecutive seasons. His longevity is regularly overlooked. He played for 5 different teams over 17 seasons and won 2 Super Bowls. Sanders is one of 2 players to score a touchdown 6 different ways. Deion's versatility and pure brass shutdown ability is what made him beloved throughout his career. He talked the talk and walked the walk. You can't talk about great corners, though, without also mentioning Darrelle Revis and Rod Woodson. Revis became such a lockdown man corner that he had a deserted island affectionately named after him. On the other side of the spectrum, Rod Woodson was the best playmaking corner ever. He could shut you down in man coverage, bait and intercept the QB in zone coverages, and was an absolutely vicious tackler.
Woodson on the back end of his career.
Transcended the cornerback position and showed young athletes that intercepting touchdowns was just as cool as scoring them. And for that, Prime is without question the greatest cornerback of all time. Safety.
Oh, yeah.
You break the huddle and it's different. You don't scan like normal. You're looking for number 20. This was Tom Brady when he asked about prepping for the Ravens. Ed Reed impacted the game more than any player ever. If a great corner was on the field, you could decide to go opposite of him. Not with Reed. He could start in the center of the field and then make a play on the ball outside of the hashes. It wasn't just that he was so physically gifted. It was his mind that truly set him apart from the rest. He often knew what was going to happen before it happened. Quarterbacks and making them pay for throwing the ball anywhere near him. He not only...
Like the definition of a ball hawk. The definition of a ball... It's like sometimes when you're growing up and you're watching your favorite players play, or just players like great players on opposite teams, they don't even have to be your favorite player. Ed Reed wasn't even my favorite player until later on back in the end of his career. But I always respected this man. This man was just nice. This man's brilliant. You don't even realize how great these players are until you old and they moved on. When I'm watching Ed Reed play, you're looking at a dude that's going to the Hall of Fame. I'm just like, is he really going to go to the Hall of Fame? Because it just didn't seem like you could watch players develop into Hall of Famers. This dude, Ed Reed, came into the league smoking. And then to have him and Ray Lewis in his prime, 2 Hall of Fame defensive players playing within their primes together, the definition of a ball hawk. There's never been anything like Ed Reed, and the league has yet to find a replacement. No defender's impact has been close to what Ed Reed represented on the field. Sorry.
He picked off balls. He scored them, posting the 2 longest interception touchdowns in history, while also being the all-time leader in career interception yards. Reed combined pure athleticism and ball-hawking abilities the game may never see again. Ronnie Lott had game rules changed because of the way he played. A violent and passionate safety whose love for the game ran so deep that he had his pinky amputated so he could return to a game. Similarly, Troy Polamalu was the most feared safety in football at one point. He played the game with a silent intensity, and if you watched the Steelers play in the 2000s, you better believe you would see 43 and his flowing hair flying around the field making plays.
Was him.
However, Ed Reed was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers, putting him in a league of his own. So, there you have it, the greatest player at every position in NFL history. Do you think any of these players will be dethroned in the coming years?
No. Very simple question. No. Only mix up, I would have had Barry Sanders with LaDainian Tomlinson because I felt like LaDainian Tomlinson was him. But, I mean, you can debate once you want to go all the way back to, what, the 60s or the 70s where Jim Brown was playing. I'm not here to argue or disrespect any of the GOATs, but, bro, I ain't never seen anything like Ed Reed, and I never will. I never will. It just is what it is. Some players are so great, they're 1 in a million. 1 in a million. But I appreciate you guys for checking out this video along with your boy Gabos. Hit the like button for your boy one time. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Damn, I was to drop my intro at the end. Man, I rock with y'all, man. See you guys next video. My bow.